Are you tired of driving your kids to Gigi Allen's grave only to be unable to find the grave because some dick stole the headstone? Well, there is a solution. The Find Gigi Allen's Grave app for Android will give you door-to-grave directions. The Find Gigi Allen's Grave app uses advanced GPS protocols to guide you with voices to the exact patch of dust and grass where Gigi took his final dirt nap. Bring the kids. Do some needle drops at the Gigiest place on earth. Gigi always had a huge underground following, but it's even bigger now that he's literally underground. So it's no surprise that lots of folks today take a pilgrimage to Gigi's grave. But getting there wasn't easy until this app. Forget Graceland, forget the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Those are plastic places for old people with jobs. Hell, even CBGB's is gone, and that former hallowed ground is now a yuppie coffee bar. The real rock and roll mecca is an unmarked patch of grass in Littleton, New Hampshire, and our free app will show you how to get there. Get the Find Gigi Allen's Grave app today. Even if you're not planning to go there soon, the app is fun. The Find Gigi Allen's Grave app is covered by the BIPCOT No Government License, and it's from the good people at Beastlick Internet Policy Commission Outreach Team, who also brought you FeenPhone, the Freedom Feens Radio app, BIPCOT, MeowBit, and of course, Truth, Justice, American Way. The Find Gigi Allen's Grave app is free. Get it today on the Google Play Store or on Amazon. Your family will thank you. And don't forget to rate and review. Worms, eating Gigi Allen's face.
Well, it goes from hope and change to make America great again, man. It's just one slogan to the next.
Shut your whore mouth. America's still great. Who are you to say it's not great anymore?
I say it was never great.
Donald Trump said it.
Well, fuck him.
Are you saying fuck Donald Trump?
Yes, I am.
It is slavery. It's just a different name. A lot of people don't realize what it is. And when we bring these ideas to light and make people realize, that this government force is the problem.
And to me, it's like I say, imagine you're an abolitionist in the 19th century, and these slave masters are giving you the same exact argument. Who's going to pick the cotton?
Hey, Seeds of Liberty. Read the show's description, please. Fervently complete the course. Report him to the infantry. Finish him. Deconstruct the fallacy. Seasonal production means it seems to spawn a tragedy. Peep the action, please. A fraction of the allegory. Corollary cadences complaining on a sadder story. Menial. Recently reading into the thesis here. Mirroring the people who completely fail to see it though. Seeing is believing. Yes, the reason is appealing most. Reading enemies is just enables you to see it too. Menial. Recently reading into the thesis here. Mirroring the people.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Seeds of Liberty podcast. This is episode 79. As always, the Seeds of Liberty podcast is covered by a BIPCOT No Government License. This allows reuse by anyone except governments and the agents thereof. You can find out more information about this at bipcot.org. So this week, in the now vacated Danilo chair, we have a returning guest, our friend Lou Feen from the Freedom Feens. Hey Lou, how are you, man?
I'm fine, and you are buffering hard. As soon as you said, all right, let's go live.
Figures.
That's when the buffering started. You and Dave.
Story of my life, man.
We're getting droned, man.
He's gone?
Who's gone? We're all here.
We're all here.
No, you said the vacated Danilo chair.
Oh yes, the vacant. Yes, he officially stepped out. He had taken a sabbatical for a while, and then officially gave us his resignation a couple of weeks ago, after drawing it out for a very long time.
So kind of like Nick's podcast.
Yeah, except he pod faded on us to go focus more on his stuff. So that's okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, I think I don't think his wife was very happy with him spending so much time doing so many different projects. Plus, we tend to get a little more radical than he does in his writings and in his in his videos that he does. Like he's very, Danilo's very eloquently spoken, and he doesn't get into like anywhere near troll territory, so he doesn't even think in that mindset. So he's not very antagonistic at all. Whereas Dave and I are very in your face most of the time, and I think it actually scared his wife a little bit, which is a shame. But hey, what are you gonna do? We carry on. We've just been filling his chair with different people every week.
Nice.
I miss him, but
Yeah, I miss him too. I love the guy. I've given him hell because of this, because he took so long to tell us. But I told him I still love him. It's no hard feelings. I understand. We'll pick up and move on. It's all good.
So it was a breakup that took a long period of time. It wasn't an angry, I don't want to date you anymore. It was kind of I have to wash my hair, and then,
Well, actually, see, when you put it in those terms, it's actually more like the guy who purposely acts like an asshole to get the girl to break up with him, so he doesn't have to do it. That's kind of what Danilo was doing to us. He was kind of like, blowing us off and not giving us half-ass responses and being like, yeah, well, I'll be back soon. And then not taking the advice I gave him.
Have you guys ever worked in sales?
Yes, I have, actually.
Okay. All right. So the whole thing about, I got to think about it. And can I curse on here?
Oh, sure.
Bit? Just a little bit?
Just a little bit.
Obviously.
Okay. All right. In sales, when a customer says, well, I want to think about it, it generally means go fuck yourself, because they're not sold. If they come across a product, a good or service, whatever it is that they really like, they don't have to think about it. They're like, yes, I like this. I'll use it. I want it. I can afford it, and it would make my life so much better. So therefore, I will jump on this deal right now. But if they're not sold, if they don't see the value of it, if they don't really see themselves using it, and they don't really want it, then rather than just saying go fuck yourself, they'll be polite and say, I want to think about it, which is a translation for it. And then the other thing is, well, I'll be back. And when you work in sales, particularly when you work in commission sales, people that live on B-backs, they raise skinny children. Because a lot of times, when somebody gets out of the ether, when somebody gets out of the excitement of seeing a product and they go home, chances are they don't really think about it, because they go back to their regular life and they got other normal people shit to deal with. So when it comes, it's kind of like out of sight, out of mind. What's important is what's right in front of you. So they wind up not going back. And that's why people that live on B-backs raise skinny children, because they can't afford to feed them.
Well, makes sense.
I missed him, though. It's just he didn't want to follow us on this FeenPhone journey, and we really, really wanted to up our quality, and Skype wasn't offering that really for us. It was our number one complaint. Hey, up your quality, and we're trying to respond to market incentives, and our numbers, our download numbers are going up along with this quality increase as well. So
I want to go into the FeenPhone server at GCN and adjust the buffer levels.
It doesn't work like that here, Lou.
Yeah, I don't have access to all that stuff here.
No.
So
well, see, you're not buffering on my end, so I can't really do anything about it, man. Anyway, so that's the story with Danilo, and we wish him the best, and he swears he still supports us. I still don't think he listens to the show. Even he didn't listen to it when he was on it, and I don't think he listens to it now. But that's okay, because I make fun of him constantly. And,
I don't even listen to it.
It's all right. Most people don't. It's fine. Most people I know don't. Our fan base,
they download it.
Our fan base are people that don't. Actually, they don't even download it. Our fan bases are people that we don't know, which is great.
If it wasn't for government agencies, nobody would listen.
Well, yes, this is true.
Ooh, I want government agents to listen. That's fine with me.
Yeah, I'm sure they're riveted and writing down everything we say. Those dangerous people. Well, actually, that's not true. I'm usually openly advocating non-compliance and encouraging others to do the same. So, I mean, I guess technically it would be.
He's always advocating way overeating of bacon. So, I mean, the health department's going to...
That is a logical fallacy. There is no such thing as an overeating of bacon.
So the health department Nazis it is.
From my warm, greasy hands.
From my cold, beating heart.
Yeah. Jeremy, you were still at Liberty Fest on Monday morning, right?
Yes, sir. I wager. Well, I was there, but I missed breakfast because you came up and told us breakfast was on, and when we followed you down, there was no food left. So
okay, well, you didn't see me cooking then.
No, I did not Monday morning.
Okay. All right, had you not been screwing around and sleeping in late and doing whatever the hell it is that you were doing over there,
packing my
you would have
stuff.
seen me. All right, so you were packing your shit.
The fifth
no pun
degree
intended.
from Lou. Damn.
So anyway, the way I cooked up breakfast, did you see the cast iron stuff that I brought with me?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I was hanging out.
Okay,
I was hanging out in
see
your
that?
kitchen a bunch. I just wasn't there that morning.
All right. Okay. The only time that I really used a lot of the cast iron stuff was on that Monday morning breakfast. I got that 12-quart Dutch oven with a lid, and the diameter of it is 16 inches. So this thing's huge. It's a monster. I probably had somewhere between 8 and 10 quarts of sausage hash in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was cooking. I probably cooked up a good, at an absolute positive bare minimum, 10 pounds of bacon that meal.
10 pounds.
And what I did was,
my heart just fluttered.
Good. For the very first batch of practice bacon that I made up, I had it on the yeah. You know what practice bacon is, right?
That's the bacon you cook to eat while you're cooking bacon. Got it.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, because this is the anarchist solution to parents with wooden spoons and that have this fetish for cracking knuckles. So, and I'll just go ahead and tell the whole story. When you're growing up and you want to get that bacon and you're waiting for breakfast to come, it's like, no, I can't wait for breakfast to be done. I want to eat my bacon right now. So you go and you reach in and you put your knuckles at risk of mortal injury. Sunday morning breakfast could be just like going to Catholic school with the penguins and the yardsticks. So anyway, you're reaching for that bacon, and Mama's like, no, you got to wait until breakfast is ready. You can't have bacon till the meal's served, and swats at your knuckles and tries to cripple you. So the anarchist solution to that is make more bacon and start making bacon before you start cooking everything else, and that way, when you're cooking the meal, people have bacon to snack on. It's kind of like hors d'oeuvres. So
yes.
Practice bacon.
Yeah.
And nobody gets their knuckles hurt.
I do that when I grill. If I ever fire up a grill, I always buy like a big thing of smoked sausage just so I could cook that like while the grill's warming up and everything, so everybody will have something to snack on. So they won't be over there picking at the food that's cooking.
Yeah. So what I did was I cooked up a couple pounds of practice bacon, and that was just to get the grease for the potatoes, because bacon grease is pork-based vegetable oil, as far as I'm concerned. So when I make hash browns, instead of using like a vegetable oil or canola or something like that, something unhealthy,
coconut?
I use bacon grease.
Well, I do too, man.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Yeah, I mean, you said coconut oil. I do keep, Dave said coconut oil. I do keep coconut oil in the house. I use that for some things, but most things, especially like any type of meat that I'm cooking on the stove for any reason, or my eggs, you make eggs, use bacon grease instead of anything, pretty much. So yeah, pretty much anything I put in.
When I'm doing scrambled eggs, I like to dice up the bacon and throw it into the skillet and brown it off, and then you got bacon and grease for cooking with. So just pour your scrambled eggs in there, mix it up, and you got scrambled eggs and bacon.
It's at this point, this show comes out Monday morning, right? So everyone that's grabbing this, if they just forgot breakfast that morning, they're going to be hearing this on the way to work and going to be saying, "Damn you, Lou Feen!"
Well, hey, our second biggest complaint is that we always talk about negative. We usually always talk about negative things. Here we're talking about positive stuff. Come on, bacon.
Okay, so positivity of bacon. So I wound up cooking up a whole bunch of bacon to get to have my bacon grease for the sausage hash, and then I had my next biggest Dutch oven, which I think may have been an 8 or a 10 quart, something like that. It's not quite as big, but what I did was I filled that thing up with bacon grease, and I was deep frying the bacon, because ultimately when you got bacon in the skillet, you're deep frying it.
Yeah,
you're deep frying it in its own grease. So what I did was I just put a whole lot of extra grease in there and deep fried it that way, and it's a really good way to cook up an awful lot of bacon at one time. So when you got all these people standing around, and so I'm going Yeah, so I'm going like 3, 4, 5 pounds at a time for more practice bacon because, you got to practice bacon.
Have you actually seen the bacon where they cook it and then they batter it and then deep fry it, kind of like what you're talking about?
Oh, man, that sounds good.
It is. I've had it. And then I've had candied bacon as well.
Double fried bacon? That sounds... Yeah. I've never tried that. I have to have that now.
It's deep fried bacon.
Bacon was so good, I had to deep fry it, and then I deep fried it again.
And then I tempered it.
Oh, man.
Yeah, like any real human being, I love bacon, and
that's my litmus test.
although I actually, while I'm sure it was delicious. I've had your bacon before; it's delicious. I actually, when I'm at home, I prefer to bake it just because it's so much easier to take care. It takes longer, but it's so much easier to clean up, and it actually tastes really effing good.
Yeah. So anyway, after I cooked the second batch of practice bacon, that's when I put on the main course bacon. So leaving all that grease in the big giant Dutch
applewood
oven,
smoked?
I brought a couple packages of, I think I may have had some applewood smoked. A lot of people brought over packages of bacon, so there was a little bit of everything there. It was a hodgepodge.
Plethora, huh?
Yeah, it was a bacon buffet.
Bacon buffet. There you go.
A cornucopia of bacon.
Yeah, I could have told you all the different types of bacon that were in there, and I would sound like Bubba from Forrest Gump. we got applewood smoked bacon. We got thin cut bacon. We got thick cut bacon. We got bacon flavored bacon. We got
chorizo. We just Mexican bacon.
We got a little bit of turkey bacon and those goofballs. They eat
turkey
that
bacon
stuff,
ain't turkey bacon. Get that out of here.
I don't care for that. They should call it turkey jerky because that's what it is.
They should call it shit I never want in my mouth.
I don't know. I ate it.
And with the things that have been in your mouth, I find it hard to believe that you would.
Seriously, man.
Turkey bacon, really?
I don't know. I ate it for a couple of years when I was trying to be healthy before I realized that just getting the uncured bacon is actually the best thing to get anyway. So that's what I get now, and it's delicious.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like the Trader Joe's stuff, but the nearest Trader Joe's to me is almost 3 hours away down in Milwaukee because I live in Bear, Saskatchewan.
Yeah, well,
they don't really exist in Alabama, I don't think. So.
Well, I have them
Alabama,
here.
Then.
I have them here. They're a couple towns away. I don't even have to go that far though. The big box store, the BJ's that we have up, it's in my town, and I could walk there if I really felt so inclined because it's less than a mile away. They actually sell the really good stuff. But yeah, turkey bacon. I ate it for a couple of years. It's not horrible. It's just most of it's more like jerky, like Lou said, and
I'd rather be dead.
A lot of them are a lot more saltier than they need to be.
Well, anyway, from Trader Joe's, I like the uncured
cooking bacon,
uncured applewood smoked bacon, because it's got no nitrates in it, or no additional nitrates or nitrites.
Yep.
So you got like the pieces and ends, which is the scraps, but it's really cool because you'll get like bacon steak in there. You'll get like a super thick cut piece of bacon. Yeah, it's thick. It's like a 1/4 inch thick because it's the scraps. Yeah. It's after they go through and trim everything. All the scraps get thrown into these extra packages because waste not, want not, and anybody who if you waste bacon, a pox upon your house. But anyway, so and you'll have some deformed pieces in there. Some of them are rather hideous looking. Some of them are kind of mangled up. So with those, you just chop them up into little pieces and use those for throwing in the skillet with your scrambled eggs. And then every once in a while you get like a regular slice of bacon that for some reason or another it didn't make it into the main course bacon. So for one reason or another, so you could just throw it in the skillet like a regular piece of bacon. And then of course I think I did mention that they have the super thick cut stuff. So super thick cut stuff. Oh my God, get the steak knife out because that is so damn good.
It's my favorite, yeah.
And then they got some other pieces that are just big, massive hunks of like the side. So
Lou, I've been meaning to ask you a question.
Seeing a girl in a tank top. Well, hang on. Let me finish my talking. So instead of side boob, you got like side bacon because it's like the cut off to the side. And it's mostly fat and but anyway, yeah, that's good for dicing up. Throw that in some baked beans or something like that. So anyway, Dave, you had a question. Caller.
Yeah, you know, when you drop a piece of food on the floor, it's called, like, you have a certain amount of time to get it back. It's like the 5-second rule. Does that apply to bacon or what's going on here?
Well, the interesting thing, when you use my method of cooking bacon, you could just like swat the bacon against the side of the table or something like that and knock the main chunks of dirt off, and then you just fire it back into the deep fryer / big giant cast iron.
Yeah, and just kill any bacteria. I gotcha.
Yeah. So I mean, 5 seconds. You know, you could either go standard or metric 5 seconds. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so it doesn't increase. It doesn't go to like 10 or 20 or an hour. Like you can't just walk up on a piece of bacon and be like, "Wow."
Well, I don't know if it. I mean,
no one claimed this.
If it's cooked, definitely.
Go where you think is right.
Yeah, I would say if it's cooked, pretty much any time is a good time to pick it up. Unless maybe it sat out in the rain for a while, that could be kind of gross. But other than that, I'd say it's definitely worth eating.
Like go with follow your own conscience. Go with what you think is right, and remember, you can always pass it off to somebody else.
Yeah, he's going to turn down a free piece of bacon.
Hey, look, I got you a piece of bacon. There's some bacon over there. I already had mine. Here's one for you.
You just find your little favorite ANCOM and say, "Hey, Nick, how would you like some bacon?"
Oh, poor Nick. Oh, the yak farmer.
Your favorite little ANCOM. Yeah. I don't know if I know an ANCOM that I would consider being my favorite anything.
Well,
he's not really an ANCOM.
He acted like one. He talks a big game, but at a Porkfest, he kind of acted like one.
I didn't really see all that. I did catch him sniffing around the looking for stuff that fell on the ground at the assault kitchen, but
yeah, well, he was just getting hooked up everywhere, living the life.
Yeah. Hey, he'd go around and beg, and he's like, "I'm under 18. I don't have a parent to provide me with food. Please feed me."
Yeah. Well, he doesn't get to play that.
I was really
so what's been up in Lou World? You haven't been on in like 50 episodes, I think.
Oh, I know. It's you guys haven't invited me. And matter of fact, I think last time I was on, you guys told me, "Don't come back, you prick."
I'm pretty sure I didn't.
I didn't say that.
No, I'm just kidding. It
was Danilo. It was definitely Danilo.
You know what? I was on with Danilo, and I think I was filling in for you, Dave. So it was me, Jeremy, and Danilo, and we were interviewing Alma Sommer about Jackalope Festival.
This is correct.
Okay, yeah.
So this would have been This would have been probably in May, April, something like that. It was before Porkfest, I think.
It was definitely before Porkfest. Yeah. It was
I remember that now. I couldn't talk. That was when I had that thing. Remember that?
Yeah, it was one of the greatest times of my life.
I was like, "Lou, do this show. I can't even talk." And he was like, "What?" I was like, "I can't talk."
Yeah, I can't remember who asked me to do the show, but I wound up doing it, and it was a good time. I enjoyed it.
Got droned.
Well, you did. Well, you've been.
I have successfully quit vaping. That's a little tidbit on my personal info there.
Oh.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Have you done away with all of the inhalants and stuff like that? Or are you back to cigarettes, smoking crack, injecting?
I quit the vaping, and I haven't resorted back to any other nicotine ways to get nicotine in your body. I don't know.
Okay, so
I'm not dipping. I'm not smoking.
How long have you been clean and sober?
9 days. No, 11 days now. No nicotine.
Wow, man, good for you.
And how are you handling the cravings? Are you having cravings? Are you having urges?
So this is like my third time to quit, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to quit. Like, this is like my third hard time to quit, like concerted, like I don't want to smoke anymore. And every time I get the urge for a cigarette, I drink an entire glass of water. Or
that's cool.
Urge to vape or urge to get nicotine, I just drink an entire glass of water. And and then I just walk it off, man, because you can just, it's a mental thing. You gotta outmind it, you know.
Yeah, after the first 4 days, it's pretty much all mental.
It's 7. It's usually 7 for me, but you're right. The first 4 are really rough.
Well, that's when the nicotine's leaving your body.
Yeah, it's a lot more than 4 days. And interestingly enough, I had heard this. Oh yeah, and I had heard 14. This that after about I think 12 weeks it is. That's when you'll have like another really big craving. Is at about the 12-week mark. I just hit my 10-month mark on Tuesday. Yeah,
congratulations.
Tuesday. Yeah. Tuesday, I'm proud of you, man.
Thank you. So let me ask you this, because as you know, I work in mental health and work with recovery and stuff like that. What is your motivation for quitting?
I know it has no good ends, and it's also not it's not a logical economical purchase. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So you would like to save money.
Well, that, and I would also like to not, deny logic and reason.
Okay, which people do on a daily basis, particularly smokers.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I have I'm almost 30. I've smoked or dipped or whatever. I've used nicotine in some way since I was 15. So that's already half my life. And
I've smoked longer than you've been alive.
Wow.
I smoked for about 31 years, almost 31 years.
It's hard because nicotine makes me feel like it levels my brain out a little bit. I can't really explain it. I've actually just been I've been scatterbrained a lot since I quit, actually.
So
that could just be it leaving my body.
That's kind of typical for the withdrawals.
That's just normal. Yeah. That's different from your normal ADD self.
No, it's way worse. It's been worse. That's the nicotine I felt has always allowed me to control whatever that is, that ADHD or whatever it is.
It's not the nicotine that helps you to control your thoughts. It's the lack of nicotine that is causing you to be less able to control your thoughts. What you have is you have a disruption in your body right now. You're used to having nicotine in there, and now that you're not getting it, you are definitely facing some difficulties. Your body is saying, what in the hell is going on? Because our bodies are creatures of habit, so to speak. Mm-hmm. It's just like
my back has hurt since I quit. Like just my whole back, just all the muscles in it. Yeah, I can just totally feel my whole body, it just leaving my body, the nicotine slowly. But I'm trying to drink a gallon a day, and that's the good way to quit. I'm telling you, if you'll drink a gallon of water a day, like force yourself somehow, you can beat nicotine, and anyone can beat nicotine in 5 to 6 days. Mm-hmm. Legit, like just a gallon a day.
Yeah, there's also a number of articles that talk about foods that you can eat that will help you to alleviate the withdrawal symptoms. I remember broccoli being one of them, and I like broccoli, so that worked out pretty well.
You can eat, I think anything with a lot of fiber in it is going to help pull the stuff out of your colon, which is, your waste disposal, which has the nicotine and all the other stuff, the toxins in your body. It's going to help pull all that out when the more fiber you eat. So I can imagine why they would say broccoli.
That's interesting about the
heavy fiber.
It's interesting about the water, the water thing you're talking about, Dave, because I actually had an old woman who is a neighbor of one of my clients who stopped to talk to me today because she's going to be. I was, like I said, I was telling you earlier that I was supposed to be taking off this weekend, but I decided not to go. I ended up not going where I was supposed to be going, so I'm here. But I had already told my clients I was going to take off, so for the most part, I'm off this weekend. So the little old lady next door is going to take care of the cat for a couple of days. So she was asking me questions, and she saw me light up a cigarette, and she wanted to give me a little, lecture in a very pleasant way, or as pleasant as she could be about it. But she actually insisted on giving me a case of the sports bottle, the sports top ones, the Poland Spring ones. And said that, not only on top of water, but she had been through a couple classes with family members of hers, and all of them had ended up being able to stop because on top of just using the water, using those sport bottles actually stemmed the oral fixation that they had as well. Mm-hmm. So it's funny that you brought that up because that literally just happened to me a couple hours earlier today.
It's hard for me with the vaping because I love it. I love it so much.
Well, that's why I was very careful with the flavors I chose, man. That's why I got that one tobacco-ish flavor I found early on, never changed, because I knew I would get hooked on flavors and I would love it even more.
Oh,
yeah. If you want to quit, start vaping ass flavor.
That is legit how to quit vaping. Get a flavor that you do not like in your vape, and then vape that until you're like, if I put this to my mouth, I'm going to throw it up against a wall, because that's essentially what happened to me. That's why I quit. I was like, I had this I only like about 2 flavors, and if they stopped them, I would be out of nicotine essentially, because I'm not going to vape a flavor I don't like. So then I have to go through all this at a worse time than when I want to. So I'm going to go ahead and quit. So I just quit, man, and I'm selling my nice vape rig to a family member who smokes, and hopefully they're going to be quitting smoking.
My motivation for quitting was a little bit different than yours. I wasn't particularly concerned about the cost because I was paying about $1 a pack, and let's be honest,
wow.
You were rolling your own, right?
Yeah, and the way that I was doing it is a perfectly legal way to avoid the tax collector. I was spending $30-$40 a month, so that was not going to be a significant change in my lifestyle. It's not going to impact how I eat.
You really should do a video on that, Lou. You should just do a Lou Feen's guy, not to say you're advocating smoking or anything, but I'm pretty sure you could save a lot of people a lot of money and rob a lot of tobacco companies of a lot of money by just popping up a quick video on how to smoke for a pack a day for $30 a month.
Yeah. Only problem is I gave away all my equipment. So.
You could just sit down and tell everybody. I mean, I'm telling you, people would love to hear it.
I could do that, but it's nicer to have the demonstration. But anyhow, but the bottom line though is I wasn't spending all that money. I'm not saving a whole lot of cash, and I knew that was bad for me in the long-term health effects and blah blah blah. The really big thing for me is I did not feel well. I haven't been diagnosed with any horrible disease. I'm not like Michael Dean on a lung transplant
like you had sand in your blood.
Yeah. I'm not on a list for a lung or colon transplant.
When I smoked cigarettes, that's how I felt. I felt like I had sand in my blood. I just felt slow. Yeah. So I just didn't feel well. I coughed an awful lot. Jeremy, you weren't on the you guys have done shows with me back when I was a smoker, and you know how much I had to hit the mute button to cough. Oh yeah.
And it's not like that anymore.
Yeah.
How long was your healing period? I mean, I'm assuming you're still healing 10 months later, but I'm sure it was a rough month or so.
It was probably about 2 months when I had stopped coughing as much, and I think it was about 3 weeks or so when I could smell other smokers.
Wow, yeah, I remember that.
So
yeah,
I always thought that I had a very good sense of smell, and I did. I could easily identify smells, but the one smell that I didn't notice because I carried that smell myself was the smell of being a smoker, meaning a stale ashtray smell.
Yeah.
Oof.
And after being a non-smoker for that 3 weeks and starting to smell it, it's like, holy crap, I smelled like that?
Yeah, that's a stark realization. I do remember the last time that I actually did successfully quit, which was for 5 years, and then like an idiot I started again. But I remember it being about 2 weeks, I think, before that smell kicked in for me, where I started being able to pick up other people's, and I always thought that I was going to end up like my grandmother, who had been forced to quit by my uncle, my mom, and my uncle and his wife and my mom kind of conspired to. Well, actually, my mom didn't really want it, but she went along with it, so I call her a conspirator. They shipped her off to Mexico after she broke her hip because my uncle and my aunt and their family were living down there. And, there's this big, beautiful house, and they said, oh, listen, come down here, and you can heal here in the sun in our beautiful villa, and you don't have to, we can have you taken care of. And, so it sounded great. So, of course, she went down there, and as soon as they went down there, they refused to buy her cigarettes. So they kind of forced her, like they bought her patches and gum and like all the different ways to try to quit, and basically forced her into it. But she ended up remaining loving the smell after that, and was always tempted for the longest time because the smell still, like, it still drove her nuts, and she still wanted it. And
that's what get me.
Yeah, I was afraid that's what was going to happen to me, but luckily at the 2-week mark, I ended up hanging out with some people that were smoking, and I smelled it and I noticed it, and I was like, right away, I was like, oh no, this, like, kind of like Lou said, like, this is what I smelled like. No, I'm cool, thanks, never mind, and I walked away.
I had about 4 days of just, like, I guess my lungs got a chance to stop for a while because I've vaped steady for 3 years now, and they just got to, and I'm telling you, man, I coughed stuff out that was viscous. It was deep from up there. It just finally got a chance to get out. I'm breathing better. I will say that. Anyone that says like vaping isn't bad for you, I mean, it does have its side effects, but
dude, I tried to tell you that when Michael went through his stuff and he was talking.
I don't feel bad at all, though, man. I feel great now, though.
Well,
not like when I quit smoking, man. That took months.
Yeah, with me, I haven't had the coughing fit where the lungs cleared out, so I actually don't think that there's a bunch of crud in there, or maybe it just kind of leaked out slowly while I was asleep or something. I don't know, but I haven't had that big coughing fit where chunks of lung cookies came out.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, good for you, man. Yeah, at the 10-month mark, I would imagine you would have had at least one by now, because I had that the last go around. But I think it's much different with vape, and I know once I stop vaping, I'm going to have the same issue. But I tried to tell you, Dave, when Michael was saying that he really...
It wasn't that bad, man.
He really... No, but I'm saying, like, but that's what you were putting into yourself. Like, all that junk.
Oh, yeah.
All that crap that's actually getting into your lungs, which may be, quote-unquote, safer than tobacco.
I'm still coughing stuff up. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm still coughing stuff up.
It's still coating your lungs. Even if it's not, not as bad as the carcinogens they put in tobacco, it's it still coats your lungs, and it helps you to not breathe because your lungs are, they're whatchamacallit.
It's preventing oxygen from being absorbed.
Exactly. So it's blocking off all that airflow, and it's not really good for you. So, and I know that. And I have to quit. I will get on the train. Like, now I sit here with you two that are both quitting now. Well, you both have quit.
I'm telling you, the water every day, and the nicotine, then you're gonna have like a really bad headache for probably 3 days, and then it's gonna go away.
I drink water regularly.
Then it's just gonna be like, fuck, I want a cigarette. I want a cigarette.
Well, the smart thing about drinking water is that it cleanses out the system. It flushes out all the crap that's in there. So that is certainly, it's certainly an advantage.
Oh, absolutely. But I already drink close to a half a gallon a day regularly anyway. So I'm not sure if it's. I know I'm not saying that I couldn't do that and more. I'm just saying I don't know if it'll have the same impact as the replacement thing that would help me.
It's not really like to replace the cigarettes or anything. It's to help you just get past the nicotine withdrawals very, very quickly. So then you can handle the you personally have to handle the psychological withdrawals, but getting past that physical withdrawal so you don't break down and have another one and then start making an excuse to have one here and there. And no, you just blow it out with water, get rid of that nicotine withdrawal from your body, and then, fight it psychologically. Because it's hard to fight it on two fronts. You're trying to eliminate that second front, the physical, so you can attack that psychological.
Oh, that makes sense.
In my opinion, that's how I've quit 3 or 4 times, and I'm telling you,
you
it's
haven't.
Mind over matter.
You haven't actually
Well, you
quit.
never really quit, I guess, right?
That's what I'm saying. If you're doing it again, you haven't actually quit before. You stopped for a while, just like me. I stopped for 5 years.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't even say I quit for 5 years. I stopped for 5 years.
Hopefully this is it. I hope I don't trick myself into doing it again, going back down the road. But we'll see. Who knows? I am kind of weak. Nicotine's my weakness. So I wouldn't bet on Dave never getting nicotine in his body again, but I'm going to give it a concerted effort.
Okay, so you're already conceding that you're going to fail.
No, I don't think I'm going to fail. I just know how I am.
Well, actually, you're planning to fail.
Yeah,
no, I'm not planning to fail.
No matter
who knows what's going to happen in 10 years,
Well, with the fancy words that you're using, you're kind of coming up with a legal defense as to why you're going to come up with a reason
I see what
to
you're
smoke.
saying now.
So
it's never smoking, it's dipping.
Yeah, because like with me, I said, well, is there anything that I'm going to allow myself to have as a reason to start smoking again? Mm-hmm. And I've come up with the Walking Dead zombie apocalypse.
Apocalypse scenario where you're just like, I'm going to most likely die anyways.
Walking Dead zombie apocalypse.
What about multiple consecutive life terms in prison?
Well, they're only getting one life term out of me. After that, fuck them. I can't even guarantee them.
You know what I meant by that? Like, you're not getting out. Like, you're going to die in prison. Why not just start smoking and get it over with?
Yeah, I don't think they allow smoking in prison anymore, and I don't want to break the rules.
Wow.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to prison.
Well,
so
that's a good goal to have.
The Walking Dead's most likely not going to happen either, Lou.
There's a better chance of that than me going to prison. But anywho, so what I'm thinking is I need to remain positive. I know that there's going to be trials and tribulations in my life. I know there's going to be breakups. I know there's going to be deaths of friends and family members. And what I have to do is I have to remain strong so that I do not use those particular times as an excuse for a moment of weakness. At Liberty Fest, there was one night where I got a couple beers in me, and I think people were handing me shots of spiced rum, and I was like, "Yeah, this is how I would normally feel when I'm smoking, and this would be a night where
smoke. Yeah,
this would be a good time for me to have a cigarette." But even in my drunken foolishness, I says 1 leads to 2, 2 leads to a trip to the gas station or the tobacco shop.
Yep.
So I have not had a single puff since Friday, December 11th when I quit.
Yeah, good for you, man.
I remember when you made the post, I'm quitting, and I was like, good luck.
Not one cheat, not one puff. But the thing is, I had to say to myself, I'm not going to do this. And after a week, because I quit on a Friday, the following Saturday, because I was using the patch to help myself along. On the following Saturday, I didn't put on a patch that morning, and I thought, this is a placebo. This is Scotch tape with Nicorette written on it, or whatever the name of the patch was. Round about that afternoon, evening time, I was like, holy cow, I'm kind of jonesing here, and it's like, holy crap, how am I going to? I need to go put a patch on, otherwise I'm not going to do well. And wow. So I wound up putting on a patch that evening, actually it was the next morning. So because I didn't want to put it on it, I didn't want to put it on at night.
That's not what gets me. The Jonesing for whatever the nicotine. What gets me is the way it feels like my whole head gets cobwebs in it when I don't have nicotine, or when I'm in withdrawals, and that's my eyes hurt, my head hurts. It feels like a hammer hit me in the head. That's it. And it's like, a little bit of nicotine, boom, all that goes away immediately. So it's really weird.
Well, eventually that will come to alleviate itself. You won't have to worry about that so much. I still have cravings. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Well, I quit for 11 months before, or no, it was 13 months. So
stopped.
Well,
you stopped.
What you really need to do is you need to figure out what it is that triggers you into relapse. And you need to avoid that trigger, or you need to find a way to deal with that trigger.
Deal with your trigger, bitch.
Yeah, it's the smell. If I smell a certain type of dip, man, that's the hardest trigger I have to avoid.
Oh.
It's just like it's like candy.
See, that's interesting.
It's hard to explain.
Most people have more emotionally based triggers, anger, or situational ones, like me, what I used to. I get up in the morning. It's one of the first things I do.
The smell of somebody smoking impacts me.
Yeah, see, like I said.
If I smell a Camel Turkish Gold or Turkish Blend, that makes me want a cigarette.
See, I don't think I ever really smelled a difference in cigarettes, so I don't think I could be triggered by one or the other. Although
you can't. I can tell. I can't even be around a Newport. If it's burning, I can't even be around it. They make me sick.
See, well, going back to what Lou said earlier on about the whole sense of smell thing, where it gets deadened when you are a smoker because you don't really notice it. It gets to certain smells, it kind of deadens the whole thing. And, it's same with that. You don't really, I don't notice. I can't. My sense of smell, I guess, is so far gone because of all the cigarettes I smoke that I can't tell the difference between a cigarette. And I don't think I even bothered to try. I can't remember doing so when I stopped all those years. I mean, it's been, gosh, that was 25. So that was like over 7 years. I've been smoking for like 6 or 7 years again. So.
Well, you got this, man. I think you can quit.
I know. I you know what? I cling to it because it's one of the things I'm just really stubborn about, and whatever lack of willpower, whatever lack of willpower I have,
you rationalize it.
I
in different ways. Yeah.
Well, no, half the time I don't even when I start thinking about it. It's not even a matter of rationalizing it. I'm just like, I really still enjoy it, and I don't want to quit, and that's the problem because you can't that's one of those cliches that's usually true about it. You have to want to quit. Because if you don't really want, like I said...
You legitimately do.
Yeah, like I said, my grandmother was forced into it. It worked for her, but that's not really ideal. And, of course, goes against all...
Dude, I've seen someone locked up in rehab, couldn't have a lick of nothing, and then the minute they got out, they ran to the gas station and got a cigarette. After being in this place
but again, that's why I said...
Yeah, you gotta want to quit.
Yeah, but that's why I said it did work for her, but that's not ideal. Because I did this, I did the same thing when I was younger and I was in rehab and stuff.
FeenPhone.
I was cut off from cigarettes completely for 2 months, and the first thing I did when my mom was allowed to come visit me was ask her to bring me a pack of cigarettes. And in the hour I hung out with, or 2 hours I hung out with her and my family, I think I smoked more than half a pack, enough to make myself sick. But it didn't matter. I still wanted cigarettes again after that. That's how much I just did not care. And I'm willing to overlook so many ridiculous negatives about the whole process that I just can't, So that's why I know once I actually get to the point that I want to, I really, really want to, I will do it. Hopefully by the end of the year I'll be a lot closer to that. Anyway.
I have talked about bacon. We've talked about cigarettes and vaping and all kinds of other stuff. Lou, you want to talk about Trump supporting, Ron Paul supporting individuals?
Okay, so give me a second here to pull this up. I put out a post yesterday on FaceBeast, and this got quite a bit of traction out of people. All right, I can see where Ron Paul can be credited, and I should have quotation marks around there, with creating a bunch of new anarchists. How in the actual fuck did he create all the new Trump supporters? How do you go from Ron Paul to Trump? Aside from being carbon-based life forms, they have very little in common. And
I guess because they're both anti-establishment, Lou.
Yeah, but that would depend upon the word anti-establishment having an actual meaning. It's like people say, well, I like that Trump is disruptive. Okay, well, a screaming child is disruptive. Car accidents, train wrecks are disruptive. Okay, does that mean it's a good thing? It's disruptive and anti-establishment in 2016 is what change was in 2008. These are words that are going to have to get flushed down the memory hole. And I remember by the time Obama had been sworn into office, I was like, fuck change. I'm sick and tired of that word. I don't want, I don't even want any money back when I buy something because I'm sick and tired of change.
Well, it goes from hope and change to make America great again, man. It's just one slogan to the next.
Shut your whore mouth. America's still great. Who are you to say it's not great anymore?
I say it was never great.
Donald Trump said it.
Well, fuck him.
Are you saying fuck Donald Trump?
Yes, I am. You know why? Because America's still great. And if he doesn't think that's great anymore, he said that our country ain't great no more.
What an idiot. He didn't even know that countries are an abstract.
Yeah, fuck him.
Well, yeah, I don't know. To get to the, back to your post, I don't really know how that's... I mean, most of the people that I guess, at least I have come across a few of them that claim to have been, fans of Ron Paul and really learned a lot from him, but they really never left the Republican Party, so they're easily brought back and said, "Oh, well, he's for this," and he like you said, they use these nebulous terms like anti-establishment.
Blanky.
The same way Bernie was anti-establishment. Yeah, how's that working out for you, folks? You know, you're gonna find out the same thing about the Trumpster if he does quote unquote win, because the same exact thing is going to happen no matter whether it's him or Hillary.
Dude. We gotta say that after day one. We had to say that after day one.
No, man.
But I do agree with you. It's going to be the same thing.
Yeah, doesn't
matter who wins.
You got to find out the same agenda. That's how.
I think all the Trumpster fans are going to find out day one when he ain't about shit.
Well, no, it's not going to be that. It's not going to be that quick. It's going to be the same thing like with Obama, where all of a sudden it's like a couple months. It's not right away. It's a couple months down the road, 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, when things start actually be like, wait a minute, why hasn't this happened now? And wait a minute, what about closing Guantanamo, and what about all these things? And oh yeah, well, and the more they get put off, the less they have to explain it, and the same thing will happen, because what is it, like less than 50% of the promises politicians keep are the ones that are the ones they actually keep, and those are the horrible ones that people like us actually don't want happening, because they involve raping and the citizenry even more.
Yeah, they involve much more powerful people in the politicians' eyes, with guns to their head, Susie,
after examining the facts,
jack them as bad as an Enron exec,
After examining the facts, we find that it's not as feasible to quit murdering people as we had thought it would be previously. New information has come to light that says that we can't quit drone bombing schools and weddings and hospitals. Just take our word for it. So anyway, as I go through the list of responses, because I didn't really engage people too much as far as questioning the rationale. Unless, of course, they didn't really have an answer. If they just said something stupid, then I might call them out on it. But one of the common things I hear, let's see now, Melissa says fear. Jacqueline also says fear of Hillary.
That's usually the most common one I see, even among people who claim to be anarchists and stuff. Well, Hillary will just. You have no idea what's going to happen with Hillary. Are you kidding me? No, it's not going to matter. It's going to be the same thing. It's all a show, which is why I don't understand who people who understand that for the most part still throw that all out the window. And I guess fear is the only answer. Or the most logical answer.
These are the people that
still believe.
These people will get in fights with other fans at the professional wrestling competition over their wrestler.
That's something Dave would do.
They still believe.
I'm pretty sure. Actually.
No, they still believe. No, I wouldn't do that. No.
Well, you are from Alabama. There's a lot of people that have this fear that, oh my God, Hillary's going to bring death to the Republic. And quite frankly, if one person, a old woman, can destroy the Republic, it's already dead. Kill it. Yep. Pull the plug. Finish it off.
Finish her off. I haven't thought of it that way, Lou. That's a really good way to look at it. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
that's our show title. This far gone, then your argument is moot that we can save it by electing someone else.
Yeah, if you have to make America great again, then America's not great anymore. And if it's not great, it's either mediocre or, dare I even say, a piece of shit.
Well, it's just like, I don't know. The people still cling to this. Because wasn't Obama going to destroy the Republic?
Yeah.
And,
on paper, he technically has.
No, he didn't do anything.
He's a puppet.
But that's not even what I meant. Even if you take it on its at face value, his administration didn't do anything worse than George Bush did, who didn't do anything really. Like, they ramped up certain things, but like Reagan ramped up stuff a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then Clinton ramped stuff up in other ways. And then Bush did a horrible job, and
Bush.
Well, the first Bush pretty much just continued Reagan's mess.
Big Bush and Little Bush. Actually, there's some speculation that Bush was the power behind the throne and was running stuff during the Reagan years.
That makes sense if the Alzheimer's
CIA boy.
If the Alzheimer's kicked in earlier than they let it out to be.
Or if The greatest lone gunman was a message.
Who?
Hinckley? 89 days into the administration, and boom.
Oh, who? Hinckley? Yeah, that's who it was, right? Was that the guy who shot him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I've heard that theory, and that actually one kind of makes the most sense to me based on what else I've learned.
Oh, that was the hey, obey or else.
Yeah, like but again, that runs counter to the whole fact that Reagan was really a clone. Reagan was like a commie, most of it, like a leftist commie for the most part, for most of his life. Like even when he was the governor of California, he was a Democrat and everything. He only changed towards the end, supposedly, and for the most part, as far as I know, he basically only just was all rhetoric, which was based on the fact that he was getting, speeches by
Trump's
people.
Not going to be all rhetoric, Jeremy. It's going to be different this time. You just watch.
Well, yeah, but to make that's really it's the cult of person. It's the cult. Oh, okay. Jesus, man.
You got your her in my der.
That was my impression of a Trump-supporting anarchist. My bad.
Well, I don't know. He's the cult of I was just gonna say the cult of personality around Trump. That's the closest thing I could equate it to, because that's Reagan. He was a freaking actor, and yeah, he was a governor for a while, but whatever. He was still a bloody leftist. And
with Trump, it's a cult of borderline personality disorder.
Well. That's true.
I think it's the cult of everyone is sick and tired of this shit, and they're like, "What the hell can we do?" But just throw a monkey wrench in it.
When I think of the debates, I think of two monkeys throwing shit at each other in the zoo. So it's literally a monkey shit fight at the zoo, and there's a lot of Johnson supporters out there say, "Hey, there needs to be a third monkey flinging poo at them."
Yeah.
So let's call this episode "Pull the Plug, It's Dead."
Bacon was more riveting than talking about the current state of affairs.
I wish. America. Well, we always end up going down this path, though. But it's. Unfortunately, I don't think it's not dead, because not enough people are giving up on it yet. They'll keep dragging it out for a while. They have to. They can't. None of these people really want to give up their gravy train. So.
Yeah, Merca's going to be like Weekend at Bernie's, just long dead, but they'll still trot it out and prop it up.
Exactly, because they'll still be able to convince the beach bimbos and the surfer dudes who just continue to party on and not without a clue. Until enough of those type of people can be reached, they will keep milking it as long as they possibly can.
Sure. But there are some people that they were diehard Ron Paul supporters, and it wasn't just that they were parroting the things that he said. They could come up with their own arguments and their own ideas, and they were very supportive of civil liberties. They were opposed to the police state. They would criticize the police state at every opportunity. And some of these folks are supporting Trump. They've got pictures of them with Ron Paul, and they're saying, "Oh yeah, Trump, because the Hildebeest is so much worse." So they want to support the police state to avoid the police state of Hillary, and it just makes absolutely no sense.
We got to have a socialist police force to remove all the communists. Duh. Yeah. Lou.
When did Ron Paul ever say, stop and frisk? The Fed needs to fed properly. None of this shit. None of this stuff. They have Hillary derangement syndrome. Trump could come in their house, eat their children and grandchildren right in front of them, grab their pussies, and they'd still vote for him.
See, here's the thing, and I think this ties into the last leak that said they selected Trump as the person they wanted to target because of the reaction a lot of people would have to him, but because they know a lot of people just really hate her. And there is a very visceral feeling that people have towards her, unless they're the drones that actually really do like her, which I still can't find any of them. They keep talking about these people. I see none of them around here.
There's a few.
There's
a woman that
There's a woman that works 40 in the polls, dude. Duh. Read the news.
That's not the point. There has to be at least some of them. That's is what I meant. I don't see any of them.
There's a woman that I work with, and her argument for supporting Hillary is a mother, and a mother would not needlessly go to war. My response was, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Do you not remember her role in the State Department? And like, she was not anti-war, like anything she's ever done, not since her hippie days in the '60s.
I think it's all a ploy just to get Bill Clinton another few more years in the White House.
Why? I'm pretty sure she was running the show last time. He was too busy banging interns.
He was dicking bimbos.
She's the puppet master, and he's just the face for her, huh?
She's been behind the scenes in a lot more, she's been in, even when he was, like, she's always been doing crap.
She was dicking bimbos, too.
I know that in, like, 50 years, someone's going to do a Hillary movie, and it's going to be kind of like, it's going to be real gritty, and we'll know then, when all this stuff gets aired out.
Yeah, she's going to turn out to be Kaiser Sose.
Radical lesbian feminist is what I'm pegging, what I'm going to bet.
So what you're saying is Trump was selected because they had to go to great pains to find somebody that people would find more repulsive than Hillary. Is that the argument that you're making, Jeremy?
Yeah, basically. I mean, they had
was legit their strategy. That was their number one hope.
Yeah, because he would, obviously some people are going to hate her so much that they just are not going to vote at all or can't help, like they're going to vote for Trump and these are some of the people we're talking about here about just, saying we have to. No, it doesn't matter. I wish people and sadly most people it really is like away from election time, these same people would probably realize that and, but with the impending doom of it, they're like, oh, no, they just throw logic out the window and go, oh, no, it's not going to matter. No, wait a minute. It doesn't matter. The state's the state no matter what. It's the way it's been going for a while.
It doesn't matter who's at the head of it.
There's a reason it hasn't changed for decades upon decades upon decades.
You know what? I bet you there were anti-federalists that were screaming that George Washington was destroying the republic.
Yeah.
No, he was enforcing the republic.
There were people that stood up till it even passed they were not happy with the ratification of the Constitution, and they continued to rail against it, and they continued to point to things like the Whiskey Rebellion, and then later the Alien Sedition Acts with Adams, and they continue to say, "What the hell are you people doing? This is so not what we were like." So yeah, there's people have been battling this forever. It hasn't changed.
And then they responded, "Well, if you don't like the way we do it, move to Somalia or join the system and change it from the inside.
Move to the French territories. Go trap Pelt in the French territories, you heathen."
Pull the plug, it's dead. So I think I mentioned this on the show last night. I was talking to my neighbor the other day, and he's like, "Man, all these candidates, they're just horrible." He finds Bush and Obama, Trump and Hillary, whatever. You can't really tell a difference between any of them. He finds them to be completely intolerable. He thinks Johnson's an idiot. Doesn't care too much for Stein. Thinks she's idiot socialist. And
which he is.
He's right on. Yeah, he's right on all those counts. So he's like, "Man, I don't know what I'm going to do." And I'm like, "Well, I encourage people to do the right thing." I'm like, "Well, stay the fuck home." And he says, "Well, you mean like not vote?" And it's like, bruh, if they're all turds, why would you take part? It's as if the going through the motions and taking part in the process has some sort of value to it. And it just completely ignores the results. Because the results are one of those idiots is going to win.
4 years from now, another one of the idiots, the idiot that wins this time, and somebody else. One of those two will win, and it'll keep going.
Hillary wins. I don't think there'll be a country in 4 years.
See the same.
Please.
That's the open.
That's why I want her to win.
No, see, that's what I'm saying.
I don't think there. I'm hoping there won't be a country, period. But here's the thing. My prediction is that the degradation of the political process that you've seen in 2016 is going to pale in comparison to 2020. 2020 is going to be the shit show that makes us look civilized.
I don't really know about that. I think.
How much more dumber are people going to be in 4 years? I don't know.
Well, that's the way things go. These days, I'm pretty sure they could be a lot dumber. They're constantly people.
Idiocracy.
Yeah, it's constant. People are constantly being dumbed down. That's just the way it goes. You know, we know that. It's Idiocracy, 1984, all that stuff. It's the way, you know, they're just drained of their humanity and just focused on stupid material stuff until they have no idea, until everything's taken away and they're like, what happened? Like I was saying earlier, could it get worse? Sure, but I think that they have to keep dragging it out as long as they possibly can. And with the lack of real pushback beyond a very small minority, they keep getting away with everything. And people just keep going along with it. As long as people continue to go along with it, I think they'll continue to push the boundaries and can just continue to test the waters. And so far, they've been pretty good about, unfortunately, they've been pretty good backing off when they do sense that people are actually, you know, like with the Syria thing, that people like to point to, oh, we stopped the war. Did we stop them going to war in Syria, you know, by calling and calling our representatives? Yeah, okay, you managed to stop it for like a couple of days. And then they started working on another way to get in there, and they did anyway. So
yeah. After everybody had their little uprising, they came out with the story of he was using chemical weapons or something like that. And as soon as they heard that, oh, he gassed his own people, they started thinking with their flags instead of their brains again. And you know, that's when you saw all the anti-war in Syria people start to dissipate. And they became maybe war isn't such a bad thing if they tell us the right lies.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. People,
absolutely right. Propaganda is how war always happens.
Pretty much.
Propaganda and false flags.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. Like people like that. These people get convinced that they actually had a victory. It's like, what did you win? You bought a couple of months, maybe. And it's all those things are just to give you the illusion that you have any type of control whatsoever. So, you know, getting back to the question you guys are asking, why you're asking people, why are you voting? Exactly. Why? It's just going to keep happening. There's nothing there's so many things wrong with voting. Your vote doesn't statistically matter at all.
Well, there's people, they're going to be like, we won. Oh, really? What'd you win? Where's your trophy? What'd you get? A stop and frisk? Here, you win a wall. You win a wall.
They got the great hair and the wall and the, you know.
There will be no wall, so that's not even going to happen. I'm not, like, that's not even.
He's going to do the opposite of everything he campaigned on, man.
It's not even a matter of him doing, that's never going to happen. No matter who promised that, it would never happen. So that's just an empty promise.
What, the wall?
Yeah, that's not even a Trump thing. It got tied to Trump, but it's not a Trump thing. Anybody who ever promised that, it's never going to happen. So that's never really a legitimate campaign. I mean, people believe it, again, because of the illusion, but it's never a legitimate threat to actually be done, I don't think.
Sure it is. Think about the jobs that would be created.
Millions of jobs.
You would think so, but I don't know. They just haven't been able to justify it this entire time, so I don't see it actually happening.
No, there's going to be a bunch of new jobs. It's going to be huge.
Well, huge. Yeah. Mexico's going to pay for it, right?
Yeah, Mexico's going to pay for it, just like the Iraqi oil is going to pay for the war in 2003.
We're going
to use diversified Iraqi.
We're going to split the bill with them. So it's, you know, we share the border. Half of part of it's on their side, so you know, it's only fair.
Social contract.
Exactly.
I'm sick of this social contract argument.
Well, see,
so sick of it.
The NAP is a social argument, so social contract rather. That's you know.
Well, actually, you could make the argument that the NAP is not actually a social contract. It's kind of a default setting. Engaging in violent activity is not a natural thing for humans. It is something that is learned over time.
I think, yeah, for the most part, you know, other than the psychopaths.
Well, I'm going to exclude sociopaths and serial killers and other defectives. But for the average person, for the normal person, engaging in acts of violence and theft and violating other people is not a naturally occurring thing. If you look at the number of people that get guilt over these different things, it's I look at PTSD as an example. When you have soldiers that are getting PTSD over in the Middle East, and if you look at the much higher rate of PTSD starting with the Vietnam crowd as compared to Korea, World War II, World War I, there's a couple of factors there. With Vietnam, you had a bunch of young guys over there, 18, 19 years old. In World War II, most of the people were in their mid to late 20s. They had families, they had careers, they were established. So it wasn't a matter of taking some kid that wasn't emotionally developed and mature yet, which you have with Vietnam and the following conflicts. But also it is the feelings of guilt for what they are doing. If you talk to somebody, if you talk to people that have used deadly force in self-defense, protecting their family, they have very little remorse. And it's not because they're sociopaths, it's because they used violence to protect their families. Jeremy, if somebody was trying to harm the Biptas, I don't think that you would have I don't think you would lose a whole lot of sleep over defending your family against some jagoff that wanted to hurt your kids.
No, I don't think so.
No, but when you look at in the mental health circles, it's referred to as moral injury, which is a euphemism for knowing that you fucking did something horrible. That is why you have that is a significant factor of the extremely high incidence of PTSD and veteran suicide. And here's something else. The chief of behavioral health where I work, she had worked at a Army base not too long ago in behavioral health there, and she still has connections there. But anyway, she had told me that if you factor in active duty, that 22 veterans per day suicide rate average shoots up to about 45, between 45 and 50 per day on average.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Who was I talking with recently that 22 number is actually complete bullshit?
Oh, it's underreported because it actually relies upon the reporting of like police departments. The way the reporting, as I understand, the way the reporting is set up in certain states,
VA or anyone else like that.
Well, the thing is, they have to. How could I put it? The authorities, the government information collectors have to know that person is a veteran, and they have to actually report that person is a veteran, and they have to be deemed as a suicide. So there's just through shoddy reporting, because there's not uniform standards on the reporting. From what I understand it, from one state to another, they have different standards on how things are going to get reported. So it's actually underreported. That 22 per day, that number that you hear, is a minimum.
See, it's funny. I was talking to somebody who had also been in, who said it was the opposite way around, that it was actually a blown up number. But anyway, Oh, interesting. Well, that's even worse. But
yeah. So
it must be rough sleeping with all this stuff, you know.
if you look at like let's take World War II as an example, which is commonly referred to as the Good War. We know that it was bullshit. We know that Hitler's rise to power and the Third Reich and all the other crap that went along with it was directly attributable to the Treaty of Versailles as laid down by Woodrow Wilson and the League of Nations.
Mm-hmm.
They created the environment for a Hitler to come to power.
Yep.
So with that situation, people look at, well, Hitler was killing people in the concentration camps. He was routing up Jews, and I may be a little bit off on this, but that wasn't really widely known here in the U.S., I believe. Or let me rephrase, the extent to what it was happening, there wasn't accurate information on it. But when you look at, I could be all messed up. I'm thinking something else. But when you look at the propaganda to support going into World War II, when you look at the way that the people thought about what they're doing, and when they hear if it wasn't for those guys, we'd all be speaking German right now. Well, that's fucking bullshit. The reason that America's not speaking German right now is the same reason that the British aren't speaking German right now. It's because the German military couldn't cross a fucking English channel, let alone an ocean. and they couldn't invade and occupy the mainland of England. So how the fuck are they going to invade and occupy the mainland of the USSA?
And they were collecting gold anyways.
Yeah, the only thing that the British military were able to do was to occupy some empty rocks off the coast of England. So they took a couple of islands. Whoop-de-doo. They couldn't get on the mainland.
Well, yeah.
Not. The Bank of England was in England. Duh.
But besides that, that's like that and the fact that they spread themselves so thin by trying to take on both fronts at the same time because Hitler.
Yeah, why
Hitler
attack Russia?
He bit off way too much. Way more than he could chew. And it's like the imaginary ISIS Air Force that's going to bring all the ISIS people over here to take over the whole country. It's like that's not how this works. You don't understand. There's so many people in this country, all spread out. Like you can't just overtake the country with this imaginary force of people, or not even like people that don't have the capacity to do these things. Like Germany at that point didn't have the capacity to take over England. They couldn't do it.
Let me lay something out for you. I'm just going to give you the Cliff Notes Theater version. It is logistically impossible to occupy a landmass the size of the USSA with the population of the USSA. It is logistically impossible to invade and occupy a significant portion of it. And the reason being is you are going to need a certain amount of manpower to control up to 300 and some million people. And God only knows how many square miles there are here. Or millions of miles, probably.
You couldn't even do this in Russia. You couldn't even do that to Russia. You couldn't even control Russia.
Right. So what you need is enough manpower to control the population. That manpower is going to need equipment. They're going to need weapons. They're going to need ammunition. They're going to need supplies. They're going to need food. They're going to need replacement parts for their weapons and their equipment. And all this stuff has to be transported. I think Smedley Butler talked about it in one of his books was, there's no risk to it because there's no way to get all those people here. And here we are in the technological age of being able to defend against such attacks. It's not like the 1700s where the British could sneak on shore in an unoccupied area and march into an area. And you didn't have the communications to be able to let anybody know. And in this day and age, you have cell phones. You have so many different ways of communicating instantaneously that there's no way for a sneak attack. So what are they going to do? How are they going to invade? Are they going to come in through Canada and Mexico? Okay, well, Canada has a very long border along the north, and you'd have to have an awful lot of tanks and equipment to cover that border. And not only that, you'd have to get those tanks there. So if you have them on rail, which is one of the main ways of moving tanks, then you have an easy target for airstrikes to come in and take out an entire division of tanks and eliminate that threat before it can even get close to the border. All you have to do is take out a bridge that those tanks are on.
It's impossible these days.
Yeah. So this assertion is fucking idiotic. Mm-hmm. And anybody that makes this assertion is a fucking idiot.
Mm-hmm. Capitalism I tried to destroy our capability to have war and not risk the politicians' lives as well. So anyway, going back to all this nonsense, I mean, there's no way that you have to worry about this. I know that people have seen, Red Dawn, and they've seen how North Korea and Cuba invaded the U.S. and took over.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I had this argument with an infantry soldier, a veteran, the other day. He did 3 years in the infantry. He was in Desert Storm, and he's trying to tell me that the Germans could have invaded the USSA. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Well, yeah.
Never could have happened.
I know. It was logistically impossible for them to even attempt it. And the people just bought
American corporations were keeping the Nazi in the air and keeping all their tanks and jeeps going. So the minute that American companies wanted World War II to end, it could have happened. So there's no logistical way that Germany, who was being ran by American corporations, could have ever attacked America. It just wasn't going to happen. Why do you think they let a Japanese plane blow up something way the hell away from mainland.
That's another rabbit hole, Dave. I don't know if I want to go down. I don't know if I want to go down that one tonight.
Ben Stone, Bad Quaker, did a little special on Pearl Harbor, and he dropped an awful lot of information that would implicate U.S. leadership, quote unquote,
FDR,
in scumbaggery behavior solely for the purpose of getting the U.S. into World War II. But anyway, yeah, going back to World War II, it's advertised as a good war, so you don't have a whole lot of mental anguish over going over and killing people. It also wasn't as messy as it is today. Like with Iraq, Iraq is pretty bad. Afghanistan is absolutely the wild freaking West. Or let me rephrase, Afghanistan is what people envision the Wild West to be, because it's no holds barred over there.
Yeah, but again, well, that stuff's out of sight, out of mind for people.
But the bottom line is you don't have as much moral injury because it's perceived to be the good war, where it's pretty blatantly obvious that if you're over in Afghanistan guarding poppy fields and providing security for the local drug lords and guarding rare earth mineral mines and stuff like that,
and child rapists.
that you're essentially over there for the purpose of, oh God, Smedley Butler called it being a high class muscle man for big business and capitalism.
Yep.
Well, actually, crony capitalism.
Yeah, well, I think it was the oil industry that he was always saying, because that's who it was. They were protecting the interest of the oil.
Don't forget United Fruit.
Oh yeah, the fruit. That's right, the fruit company.
Yeah.
Well, you have to look at who
and
owns
the banksters
oil companies.
too.
It'll blow your mind. The banks own them. Yeah.
Yeah, in a lot of cases.
But anyway, what the fuck were we talking about?
I don't know. I don't know how we got here.
We were talking about your Trump Ron Paul post.
Oh yeah. We just went down a few different rabbit holes.
Yeah, we probably should get wrapping up. So, do you have anything you want to close out with, Lou, before we go?
I think history has shown, and if people could just take a deep breath, calm down, relax, take a look at history, and see how elections have changed nothing, that the course has always remained pretty much the same. It may veer a little bit to the left or to the right, but it always heads to the same destination. You can't save it. You can't vote your way out of it. So just pull the plug, let it die.
Good.
Let it die with a little dignity. Have some fond memories of it. Maybe have a memorial service every now and again, but just let it fucking die. It deserves it.
I think
it's never too late to let it die. It's never too soon either.
Yeah, that's actually sounds more up my alley. I think we should.
Yeah, it's never too soon to pull the plug on a terminally ill nation state.
The problem with cults and statism is that they always give that line. Well, we've already went this far. We're already disinvested. We can't give up now. It's like, you know how many people have died for the flag? You just want to spit on their grave. It's all just emotional bullshit. It's like,
these are probably going to be the conservatives and say, okay, well, how much more money should we invest in these solar energy companies that went belly up? Because that's what you're doing. Was it Prof. CJ talked about the 21 principles or something like that? And there was one of the things they talked about in economics was called sunken value theory. And that is the notion of, well, we've come this far, we can't just quit now, we can't cut and run, or I've watched half of this horrible stinking ass movie that I may as well see it all the way to the end. No,
I've already invested this much.
Yeah, I've already lost this much, I may as well lose twice as much. And that's really the attitude that people are taking, even though they're not saying those words. They're saying, well, I've already, I can't quit now because I've already wasted. They'll say, I've already invested this much time and effort. No, you've wasted that much time and effort. You want to waste twice as much? Quit.
Well, no, because then it switches over quickly to the gambler's fallacy, where it's bound to happen sometime.
Yeah, well, double or nothing.
No. Sometimes it's just going to keep happening. Something like this is just going to keep happening, and it's going to keep getting worse. So just stop it. Stop it right now.
Yeah, it's double or nothing. Look, just pull the plug. You'll be happy.
We're already on 44 times that. So it's beyond double or nothing. So it's 44 times. Come on now.
We're still in our last blood cell here.
Yeah. All right. Dave, anything else before we get going?
No, I just appreciate Lou coming on and talking bacon and freedom with us. He's welcome to come on anytime, man.
Bacon, vape, and pulling the plug.
There you go.
Thanks for having me. I knew it was short notice, but I said, you know what? I haven't been on in a long time, and I was really hoping to get a chance to talk to Danilo again, but he dumped you for somebody else. And
for himself.
Yeah.
He dumped us for himself, the bastard.
So, but it's always a pleasure to come on here. I don't get invited to go on a lot of shows, but I really appreciate coming on this one here.
Well, thanks, Lou. And I definitely...
Well, you always make me laugh, so...
Yeah, man. And like I said earlier, I don't get to talk to you that much anymore anyway, because we're always on different nights. But so it was good. It was good having you on, and we will have to do this again. So, this has been the Seeds of Liberty podcast. All of our information can be found at theseedsofliberty.com, and we will catch you next time. Peace.
And now that the show is over, we're pulling the plug.
Worms.
Worms.
Recently reading into the thesis, mirroring the people who completely fail to see it though. Seeing is believing, yes, the reason is appealing most. Reading enemies is just enables you to see it too.
Now that you put it that way, I have the answer to that question. It's projection. That's what it is. It's not a cop-out to call us utopians. They're actually projecting their own self-hatred onto us.
Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BIPCOT No Government License. The BIPCOT No Gov license allows use or modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to bipcot.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.